Today is day one of the fast. And I said I would come and give you guys every day for the next 2 days. Um, well, the first day of the fast, earlier today I was evicted. I have been in a testing season of my faith since November of last year, 2022. And it is now January 24th, 2023. And I've been, being faithful to God, serving God, living for God, sowing so many seeds. Everything that God has asked of me, I have done. And so I know that what I'm going through is not a punishment from God. But sometimes it's a part of his process. And so, today marks the first day. So I'm in my car. I don't know if you can see, but I have all of my things here. Everything that I can gather. There's a few things in the trunk. But I'm in my car. It's about 6. Let me see. It's about 6:38. I have no money right now. I've reached out to a few family members. I'm at about this much gas. And so I'm parked. I'm parked in front of Arby's. And I'm just sitting here, praising God, thinking, talking to God, crying. Telling God all about my problems as if he doesn't know. And I just want to encourage you, if you're going through the same thing, or if you ever gone through anything in your life, it's not easy. If you're going through something right now similar, your situation, whatever the case might be, hold on, to God's unchanging hand, and know that it won't always be like this. All right, it won't always be like this. Okay, God is going to perfect everything. Sooner or later, it's going to turn in your favor. All right, so just keep the faith in God. Keep believing. Keep trusting God. Okay, keep doing what he has required of you to do, no matter what it looks like. Easier said than done. And just make the best out of a not so good situation. With Christ, you could do all things that strengthens you, and as long as you got God, count it all joy, man. Count it all joy. God brought me to a few scriptures in the Bible. One being the harvest. He says the harvest is ripe, but pray for the laborers. So I did that today. The laborers are few. God also had me put out a warning about the worthless shepherds that have deserted the flock. The Bible says that there should not be any poor among you. But why do we see there's homeless people, etc.? Because the shepherds are they're not living lowly lives, and they're not giving back to the flock. They're taking from the flock. The flock is feeding the shepherds. And we have this backwards. The shepherds should be feeding the flock and not themselves. So this is the only way that there could be no poor among us. You know, we hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I gave to the homeless. I fed the homeless. I donated. I did this. I did that." But that's circumstantial. That's not helping someone. Who have you housed? Who have you given a job to? It's not just who have you fed. You know? That's not what it's about, y'all. That's not what it's about. When the Bible says there should be no one poor among you, nobody should be in need. Every need should be fulfilled because that's why he blessed you with it. To be a blessing. To be a blessing. So, you know, God is really upset. He's really upset. This ain't got nothing to do with, you know, why you can't work for money and why you can't help yourself. This has nothing to do with it. Because when God has placed a call on your life, the things that his process is a part of the call. And his process you have no control over. You could try to will your own way, but guess what? It ain't going to work. Because that's not the path that God carved out for you. That's not what he chose for you. So sometimes we have to surrender. Sometimes we have to surrender and let go. I'm not the type that ever want to do that. I'm used to having security, and God knows this. I've never been homeless a day in my life before. But again, it's a part of God's process. So I know you might want to say, "Oh, you could have avoided that," and "Oh, you could have." No, I couldn't have. Because I can't save my own life. It's designed that way. Especially when you vowed to depend on God. You can't break your vows. I work for God. I belong to God. And so therefore, he has to provide for me. But many of us, we get this mixed up because we don't never want to be in a position like this where we're vulnerable, where we don't have, where we might have to ask, where we might have to sit still for a few days until God moves on our situation. But we so impatient. We have we come from a microwave generation. We want everything right here and right now. But God says to be patient in affliction. Some of the things that he does is it builds us. He's building your character. I read in the Bible where it says, no one can save you. Sometimes you reach out all over the place and nobody is replying. Why? Because God sometimes makes it that way. So where all you have is him. And he wants to rescue you. He is the only one that can. And so sometimes this is a part of God's process. He makes you wait on him. He makes you trust him and believe him, or he helps you, I should say. And then he keeps his promise. He keeps all his promises. But we can't give up. We can't faint. So this is day 1 of my fast. It was supposed to be water only from 9 a.m. to 6. But it's almost 7 o'clock, so I had a little sip of water. And I haven't had anything since. So tomorrow is day 2. Lord's willing. Be blessed.